So to make the side strap all the way down the side of our bag here, you're wanting to chain 10. So start off by chaining 10, and then you're going to do a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to give you 2 double crochets. Give you 2 doubles so far, because you want 8 altogether. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 8. Okay, and then however you want to do, you're just going to do a band of 8 double crochets all the way, as long as your strap and the side of your bag is, and I'll tell you that as I go along. So I just do 2 chain, and then I turn my work around. That's counted as 1, and then I go into this first space, which gives me 2, and then into the next one, into the next one, which is 3, 4, and as long as you have your 8, you're good. That's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and then I chain 2 again, turn my work around, and I go into the very first one, and that's number 2, because a chain 2 stands as 1. So 1, 2, then I go into the next one, 3, and 8. And you can do that all the way. You're going to go straight up like that. Just keep doing that for a long band. We're going all the way around our bag and all the way up our straps. So you can go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back. So once you've started your band, go a fair, you can crochet a fair amount, and then you're going to start pinning it on your bag. So you're not doing the whole thing yet. You just, I did quite a bunch. I did from here to here. It's probably like 3 rulers length, 36 inches. Anyway, start at the middle or the bottom of your bag. There's my top part. Here's the bottom, and that's the middle, because we want to finish in the middle so you don't really see the seam. Now what you're wanting to do is you're going to just pin it on so you can see where you sewed your little band. Now you just be sure when you make your band that your band is the width of this. If your band is thicker than mine, you know, it's not an exact science here. If you've made your band thicker, you're going to have to make this wider, but you want it to fit like this. This is where you sewed them together. I'm hoping you can see, but that's the end. This, I sewed it there and I sewed it there, and your band needs to fit nicely in this little space. Okay, not perfect, it doesn't have to be exact, can be slightly over, because we're going to be sewing on our other part of our bag. So, but it needs to be more or less the same size. Then you're going to pin this on. So literally keep it, just keep following where your actual band is meant to go, and just follow it, pin it on like that all the way till you get to this part here where your bag is, your strap is started. Alright, so then when you come to this part, and I'm crocheting as I sew, so I'm going to sew, stop, crochet, sew, stop, just so when I have the perfect length for when I come back to this part. Now this part's a little bit trickier, because as long as you have enough of this, I'm going to be folding this over around my strap. I'm going to be sewing this together here. I'm just sewing these together like that, so the strap is inside of it. So be sure that your strap, if the odds are, if this fits around here, it should fit around this one. You don't have to do it that way. You could just leave it like this and just sew that on. So it's like that. It doesn't have to go around, but I'm just going to sew mine around like that. Okay, once it gets to that point over there. This will have to stay right over there, but as soon as you can twist it around like that, you can sew it. Okay, and that's going to be sewn on, because remember this is coming on here. So you're not really going to see where it turns around. Okay, so, but until then you can just keep pinning it on here. Make sure this is in the center, because you're going to sew it all the way. Make sure it's in the center there, and pin it on, and that's where you're going to be sewing it. So you can really do this part all the way. Just keep pinning and sewing. So I'm just pinning this on so I can more or less see how far I need to go. I've got up to there. I just don't want to crochet more strap than what is needed. That's why I'm pinning it as I go. So I'm basically halfway. So I need another part of that strap all the way to down here. So if you want to go ahead and start crocheting first, you can. I'm actually going to keep crocheting until I get and pin it on until I get closer to here, and then I'll sew it and then do that final little part. So pin yours on, do the rest of your band so that you can get back to here, and then you can sew it on. Or if you're not sewing yours, you still want to pin it, because we're going to be sewing this together and you want to have it at the right place. It's better to pin it on. So whichever way you're going. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead, finish this, crocheting this, pin it on, and I'm going to sew mine on, and then I'll show you how we're going to actually sew the crochet. So you can see that I've sewn, as I've sewn, this is now coming to this end part, and I've got a lot more that I've done. So that's why I like to do this, sew it while I'm crocheting, so I can see how far or how short. Fortunately it's not shorter, because then I've got to sew some more, but this should work right over there. You can go even closer just to get a good idea as to where. So as I sew now, okay, I'm going to make that work. I'm going to just stop it over here, and then these will get sewn together. Now you can crochet them together or sew them together, it's up to you. I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to just sew all the way across to where this one is, and then I've gone all the way around on mine. So you can do that as well, and I'll meet you back now. So now this is sewn all the way around. It's sewn on top of my strap. Now this is where I say if you want to leave this strap just as it is, you can. I don't really want to. I'm going to turn mine around and just sew those pieces together like that, which gives me a thinner strap, but it's entirely up to you. That's going to be your choice. But what you're going to do now, this is where I was showing you on the sewing machine, I went across, and now they're the same size. So now I'm just going to sew. Now be careful, because this is on the right side, so you do want it to look nice. I could flip it around a bit. I just kept a long thread from this piece here. When I finished it off, I just kept a very long thread, so I can have enough yarn to go all the way around sewing. And now I'm just sewing this part over here. I've probably left this too long, my thread, because it's taken forever to thread it through, but I didn't want to use another piece. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to just sew this to the end, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, so that's sewn in, and I'm just going to come on this side. We're going to be putting one on either side, so we're going to be sewing both ways. We're going to sew this way, and then we're going to sew the other one on there. So what I do on this side, you're going to do on the other side. Now, this is up to you. If you're wanting to sew yours right on this, you can. But I'm sewing mine on this part over here. It's going all the way here. That's where I'm going to sew mine. Now, as I say, this is the right side of your work, so be careful. This now that I'm working on won't be. But wherever it is the right side, just be careful that it looks nice. So I'm just really going to sew this on to here. Now, what you might want to do is to halve this, because we don't want to sew more on this side and less on this side. So kind of find the middle. There's the middle on this side, and that's about the middle here, or halve it this way, just so you can get to the center. There. Okay, so this is half, and you could put a pin there. So this is my half right over here. Okay, so we have got a pin there. That's the half. Okay, then half of my bag would be, let's see, because we're sewing it there, this is going to be left like that, and you're wanting this to come over here, so it's a little fluffy there. Okay, because I want to sew this more or less right on the edge of this part here. So let's just do, this is the middle. Where's the middle of this? That's about the middle there. So this needs to be more or less over here. Let's just put it in. There's the half there, and here's the half on the bag. So you've got quite a bit to play with here, but you want it even. You want it even on both sides. Okay, so you might have a little bit more on this of this to sew in here, and that's fine. Then just bunch it a little bit. It's not going to hurt your project at all. Just be aware, so really over here we need to be stopped over there. These go together here. And on this side, same thing. This needs to be about here. Just pin those there. So now when I sew, I know that's where I need to be, because I want to sew this on here. This edge must come on the edge of this over there. Okay, and that's really all you need to know. Now you can go ahead and sew it. And as I say, if you've got too much on this, just gather it a little bit. There's no harm in doing that. If I can find my thread, find my needle. All right, there. So now that you've got it, now I can have a good idea. If you want to, you can even halve this. You know, this was where I started. This is where I started. So half of that is more or less there and there. So that one needs to be there. And just go ahead and pin it. So once you've pinned it, it just helps when you're sewing it. Same with this. This now, half of this is about there. So this needs to be sewn about here. Okay, now you got it on all four corners. So now I can just go along sewing, and I don't have to worry that I'm going to have too much or too little. Okay, and just catch it here. As I say, if this is too much, just skip that and come in here. You know, that's really all that you're going with. So I'm going to go ahead and sew mine, and you can go ahead and sew yours. And when I get to the top of that handle, when I get to the top here, I'll meet you back again. So go ahead and sew this. Alright, so once you've got to the top over here, remember we're going to be sewing this on right over the top of the bag over here. I've just got the wrong color there because I was just doing this quickly. So once you get to the top, here's the top part over here. Go up, sew up as best as you can, just to the top over there, and then you're going to flip over just to this part here where now your other side is going to come on over here. So, but we're not going to worry about that yet. When we put that part on, we'll have to just sew up to the best we can. But now I want to be on this side, so just be sure that your yarn is on this side, and we are going to, whoops, and now we're going to just sew that together. So I'm going to flip it this way, and I'm going to just sew my handle part together. So just over here, just do a little gentle switch over from there to there, and then sew that together, unless of course you don't want yours done together. It's going to pull it in a little bit there, but it's okay. And once again, this is on the side that can be seen, so you want to sew it fairly well. You just don't want to do it in a different color and make it look like it's been sewn. When it's done like this, it doesn't really look like it's been sewn. And then that's all that you're going to do here. And just go all the way up. Make sure that your two sides are pretty even, that you're not taking more from this side and the other one. And just sew that all the way around. And once you've come all the way around over here, we're going to do this, do the same thing over there, and then just sew this bottom part on, and then you should have the one side on. So you can go ahead and do that, and I will meet you once I've done that. Alright, so once you've got this one totally on and you've come around, we're going to put the other one on this side. So be sure you've got it on the right side is facing you, and do the same thing as you did with the other one. Halve it, divide it, and then you can sew this one on. Alright, so now that we've got it all sewn on, I don't like what this looks like. I don't like it looking like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet something in the round that's going to flip over this and can be sewn in the bottom here. So you're not going to see this, you're just going to see crocheting. So what we're going to do is you're going to just do a slip knot in this first space over here. Now you're going to have to work with where yours is at, and then chain 3. And I'm going to be doing double crochets. Now I'm going to be going in these chain spaces, and you're going to have to see how many you need in your chain spaces. I want mine to be fairly, I don't want it too tight, but I don't want it too loose. So you might have to do it a few times to get the right tension, in the sense of the right amount of double crochet. See, now it's going to fold over, and it's going to be folding over this like that, and then it can get sewn on right over there so it doesn't flip up. And we're going to do this, and we're going to do this all the way around. You can see it flips over like that, and we're going to do this all the way around. Now this is where it's a little bit trickier over here by this one. So I'm just going to go in between these. Where I have one, I'm just going in between, and you'll see it looks fine. It's just going to come down like that. So, and then we're going to do this in the round. So yeah, I'm really just going in between these. I'm going in the chain spaces. I can't tell you how many I'm putting in. You just really want to go with the feel of it. If it's not going too tight, you're great. If it feels like it's going too tight, you're going to have a problem. See, now these are getting a little tight in here, so let's see if I can get another one in there. And as long as it's looking good, you're going to be fine. So that one's still looking fine. And if you want to, you can pin it on, which I think I'm going to do over here. I could probably have got another one in there, but I don't want mine to be too, I want it a little bit tighter so it'll pull this in a little bit. And I'm going to just pin it on so I don't lose where I am. But yeah, that's really all that you're going to do. You can do that. Once I've come around, I will meet you after this very first round. See, now just go in here. That's where you can go in with a double crochet. Just stay in the same place that you've been sewing on in the round. So where you sewed on there, so it's all of this and this. Don't go down to here. So it's this and this. So you can do that, and I'll meet you back now. I've come all the way around, and this is how the band will come over. So the band is going to come over like that. So this is where I'm working. Just under, and I've pinned mine on as I go. So now I'm coming to the top of this first stitch, and I'm just going to go into the top of that. Now I'm just going to do double crochets. You want to be careful when you turn around. If you find you've got too many, just do 2 together. That's not an issue. You know, this is your underneath part, so it's not really seen. So chain 3 and just keep going. You know, go with 1 double in each. And I'm going to do 1 double crochet in each of these doubles. Now where, like I say, if I feel it's getting a bit too many of them, I'm going to do 2 together, and I'm going to leave that up to you as to your decision for your bag as to if you need any more. See, if it gets too many, if it starts becoming too many, which it might somewhere over here, then I'm just going to do less. But you just want to do 1 double in each. Do about 2 or 3 rows, however many you want. I mean, 2 might be fine. I'm going to do 1, and then I'll meet you back once I've done this one, and then we can... Alright, so I did 2 rounds. So altogether I've got 3 rounds of double crochet going down here. Then what I did was I sewed it together. And then your inside looks like this. Inside is looking like that. You can't see your sewing. And the outside is like this. So I just went and did, like I said, I did 3 rounds going around. And then I just sewed it on here. Alright, so I decided to rather hand sew mine. To hand sew it, all you're going to do is you're going to come in here. You're going to just come in the fabric and in here, and then pull this through. And you can do slightly larger stitches if you like. and I'm just going to sew it like this. I'm just really catching it. And I'm sticking to the fabric on this side so that when it comes through, I'm not actually catching this on this side. I'm just catching the fabric on this side. Because I don't want the black thread to be seen. And it's just going to look like this. I mean, you could go with the lighter one, but then you're going to see it on this side. So you have to kind of make a pick. Do I want to see it here or do I want to see it here? And I don't really mind seeing it here. If you come underneath it, grab just the fabric and then come under the stitch there. You're not really going to see it. See, it's not visible on this side too much. So yeah, that's really all that I'm going to do to sew it on. And then you should be good to go. So yeah, so go ahead, do that now. You just come, get just the fabric and then you come under this stitch here. You come into that stitch over there. So yeah, that's all that you do. So yeah, that's the end of it. But yeah, that's your bag completed. Then sew in all your threads and then your bag is complete. So yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed doing this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me and I will help you the best I can. So thanks guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.